Good day. It's your girl JazzyNe, and welcome to my new show, The Remix. Yes, it has been a while. Do not ask where I've been. Life has been lifing. But I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to see all of your faces. I'm glad you joined us. Today is a very special day. This has been years in the making. Whether this guest of mine wants to believe this or not, this has been years in the making. So we interviewed her years ago, and we're running it back. We are running it back because things have changed. You know, as I mentioned earlier, life has been lifing. And ladies and gentlemen, of course, without further ado, you know her, you see her, you love her. This is Charm Me of Charmed Geek. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes. So catch us up. How have things been going for you since we last talked or interviewed you, which was probably back before the panini?
Yeah, that was before the panini.
Yes.
So, shoot, a lot of things have happened. So, let's see. I have my business, Hues book box. I have Charm Geek, which I've kind of revamped to really be more of a media company versus just my blogging. More just pulling into it all my journalism experience and covering something I love, which is gaming and geeky stuff, so, and then girly stuff too. So lots of stuff changed. Got a baby now. We're lifing it. We're lifing it out here.
Lifing it. And she's, before y'all say nothing, no, she's not a single mama. She got a whole husband.
Whole husband.
Yes. So that is amazing to hear, of course. So congratulations on not just one step, but two steps. The evolution of charm is basically what we're seeing, like that has happened over this time. So I know you mentioned that, the Hues book box. Now, granted, I was a subscriber, but of course I was broke 99, so I was, but I still have my original box. The original white one. I still have it.
Oh, you an OG. You an OG. We're on like reiteration 3 or something now of those boxes. Actually, I just did a new order. Thank God, right before the tariffs hit. Right before the tariffs hit. And so I just did a new order, and so we're on iteration 4 of the box. So you're really you're OG. You got the white box.
Listen, I'd had to support soon. Y'all, I don't think you understand. As soon as we realized she was gonna do this, I was like, yes, like what are we doing? Like, yes, this has to happen. And I was very impressed with the selection. So talking about the Hues book box, how do you come up with your selections, and then how do you curate those? Is that something you talk with your team about? Or are you constantly doing research? Are you looking for certain titles? Like, what is that process like for you?
So the team is me. It's really just me. That process has evolved over the years. So really, it's a lot of sleuthing. I follow a lot of different book influencers from different racial and ethnic backgrounds. For people that don't know, Hues curates BIPOC books, so Black books that are by or about Black, Indigenous, and other people of color. And so I'm always just kind of keeping my ear to the ground kind of thing. The goal is to find things beyond the New York Times bestseller list. Books that, especially because a lot of the books, unfortunately, that are about BIPOC that make it to that list typically deal with like suffering or like history. And a huge goal of Hues is to show everybody is human, right? So like, when you talk about that, you want to see people go the full gamut of the human experience, so in order to humanize each other.
Right.
And doing that means seeing people fall in love. That means see people be heroes and villains. That means see people be in sci-fi novels and all of that. So like Hues is trying to go, not that we never include anything about history or suffering or whatever, but the majority of what I try to include is just like, hey, this is a love story that takes place in India, Or this is a story about, this is kind of sad, but it was one of my favorite books. This is a story about a little boy who got cancer in Korea, and he's writing a love story to his parents.
Wow.
You know, like he's writing his parents' love story down, and he's so grateful to them. Like, you know, it's just like humanizing all of these people of color that when you live in America, unless you happen to live in one of those extra diverse cities, we typically live in silos. Like we're informally segregated, you know, like it used to be a formal segregation, now it's informally. And unless you intentionally, for the most part, unless you happen to live in like LA or somewhere that's super diverse, unless you intentionally seek out connections of people that look differently than you, it just doesn't happen.
Right.
So it's like, this is one way for you to explore in a fun way, like all these different cultures, learn about different people, and it's just reading a book that's fun and entertaining, you know? And so that was a long roundabout answer, but basically saying that, you know, I'm just really keeping my ear to the ground and just trying to find stories that fit that. And I kind of have my own version of a sort of like a version of the Bechdel test, where I have like my Hues test that I do, where I'm trying to find characters that are human, basically, that have a lot, that are just fully composed 3-dimensional beings inside these books. So we're not just getting books that are emphasizing stereotypes. You know, like we want to just help everybody see each other as human.
Yeah. And that right there, that's something you want to make sure is unique, especially when you're going through a book box subscription, because so many of them just throw in, like you said, those New York bestsellers, the popular ones, without necessarily giving you something that's really like focused on anything. It's like, oh, here's a bunch of stuff. Like, prime example. Okay, I know for whatever reason, the whole what do they call it? The wolf lichen werewolf stories, the you know,
like
I guess
Twilight.
Like Twilight, but it's like they're even more. I don't know if you've seen those advertisements for the short reels and Reels TV, where it's like all these stories of like, oh, I'm part of this pack, and oh, you know,
I get those ads. Yeah, I get those.
First off, I ain't seen Now Black Person, and ain't seen.
Nope, it ain't gonna happen. Sis.
And if there is someone, they're like one of the bodyguards or something. It's like, really, bro. Now somebody told me that these stories are coming from either Canada or Australia, one of the two, and I was like, oh, okay, that's great. But as far as books go, gosh, so many authors are writing these books digitally, and I'm just like, okay, this is cool, but it's heavily saturated, so you're just like, can I find something that works for me? So that was one of the things I appreciated about the book box subscription, was because I was like, I've never heard of this. Let me see what this is about. And I'm looking at the camera. You're not going to be disappointed. I promise you won't be disappointed, because, you know, and I'm not trying to put business out there, but reality check. If I was making my moolah like I was before, oh, babe, I'd be like, where's my book box, ma'am? I need my teens, I need my readables. Because me personally, my husband's like, you don't have a bookshelf or nothing. I'm like, mind your business, stay in a box.
The box is the shelf.
The box is the hello, sir. It ain't in your space.
Right.
It is not in your space. But that's the I think that's something that's important though. And and even though, yes, there are a bunch of subscription models out there, yours works because these books are curated for people of color, preferably Black people, like primarily Black folks. So do you think you would ever expand out to other races, like to include other people of color, or do you think it's pretty much like, you know?
So it's a BIPOC, so it does include other. So it's Black, Indigenous, and other. So we regularly include all different people of color, not just Black. I would say that Black Lit is the subscription box that primarily focuses on Black literature. So if you're someone that's looking specifically for Black literature, get Black Lit. But Hues is for we're talking about all the different racial and ethnic backgrounds that are non-white, basically. So Yeah, that are non-white. So
just putting it out there.
Yeah, and yeah. So there's a lot of boxes that do that already. So I don't, they have their lane. So ours is just focusing on a different segment of the book population. But yeah, so we do cover that.
Okay. So now, not only do you have the Hues book box subscription, you've also developed Charmed Geek.
Mm-hmm.
So we gotta go to the history. How did you come up with Charmed Geek?
So Charmed Geek has been along a long time, way before anybody knows. So I started Charmed Geek when I was fresh in college. So long time ago.
Ooh, throwback.
2012, I want to say.
Yeah.
Is when the first iteration of Charmed Geek, and it was really just my blog of me talking about things. It comes from my name. So my name is Charmaine, and the first part of it is charm, when you spell it out on paper. And I'm a geek. So, but I also like to think that I feel like I have a lot of charm. Like that's something that people regularly say about me. Is that I'm very charming, that I am geeky, but a lot of people are very shocked when they meet me in person. They're very shocked that I like the things that I like. Like I don't know why. I'm not hiding it. But when I start, I don't know if it's just how I look or what I do. I don't know if they just don't expect a Black girl to be in those things. I don't know what it is, but no one ever anticipates that, like, I like anime and gaming, and no one believes that's the things I'm into. And so, I just I'm like, yeah, I'm a geek, but I do it at Charm. And so that's the Charmed Geek. Yeah. And there's been many iterations of that. It started as a WordPress blog, where I was just writing. I know where I built my little WordPress site. And it's evolved over the years, and where we've landed right now, and really just by listening to the public, I realized that for whatever reason, the algorithms like me to talk about gaming. I don't know why. I don't know what that's about. I was just talking about it as a side hobby. I was just like, hey guys, here's something I like doing. And then the algorithm picked my stuff up real deep, and people was following me and stuff. And I was like, okay, let's sit with this. That was just something I was talking about as a hobby, but maybe there's something there. And so then I looked into the gaming industry, and I'm sure you probably already know this, but the gaming industry is the biggest industry in the world. It is more than fashion, more than movies. It is the most profitable gaming industry in the world. World. And there ain't a lot of Black women in it. It's just like, it's not a lot of us. And so I was like, this is a wide open lane. So then at the same-ish time, on this newest iteration of Charm Geek, I got laid off my day job as a journalist. I got laid off. And so then I was like, well, what if I combined my actual training and covered gaming and covered gaming and geeky and girly things, and just like relaunch this as like an independent journalism thing. But we're talking about the things I love. We're talking about girly stuff. We're talking about, like I said, we're talking about geeky and pop culture and animation and anime. And we're also talking about video games, specifically like cozy gaming. And that's where I've landed. So that's where I'm at now. And I think it's doing well. I'm getting collabs. I'm making some money. Is it paying all my bills? No, but
not yet.
Not yet. That's the goal. But not yet. But I'm getting collabs and I'm building the thing. So I think it is working. But we're talking about from 2012 to now. So that's a lot of years for anybody counting.
That is literally that's a good 12 for anybody who knows. My son was born in 2012, so she kicked that off before.
Oh, there you go.
Just a few years before we met, honestly.
Yeah. So I've been trying for a long time.
And the evolution is real. Like the evolution is very, very real. Like I get the newsletters in my inbox, and I'll just be like,
oh, thank you.
I'm like, look at Fred go. Yes.
It's a long way from the first newsletter.
So let me tell you something. Thanks to your newsletter, I found out about the whole testing the new Nintendo Switch 2 that they're having. And I'm like, one of the locations they're doing it is in Dallas. And I was like, did I sign up? Yes.
Yay!
Immediately.
Yay!
Am I on the wait list? Oh, for sure.
Yes. Yes.
Dallas is a geek hub, and people don't want to realize that. I'm like,
I
it
didn't
is.
know that. It really is.
So people think Texas and they're like, oh, they have a Tesla factory down there. Oh, they have Houston and, you know, Dallas and San Antonio. Oh, the capital city is Austin. They have, they have the big, you know, South by Southwest multimedia. The largest, actually, I have to say this, South by Southwest is the largest international multimedia festival, not just one, but the largest multimedia festival held in the world.
I don't think I knew that.
And look, I'm older than that festival. It's more popular than me. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. But, you know, no. So, like, there's that. But then people don't realize, I'm like, there are a lot of geeks in our state. Like, there's a lot of streamers, Twitch streamers, folks from, people think, oh, the whole, that group RDC World, they're from Texas. Some of them from Houston, some of them from Dallas, some of them from Austin. But they're Texas-based, homegrown here. And I'm like, we have the DreamHack Dallas Festival. They moved from Austin to Dallas. We have God knows how many conventions throughout the year. Like, it's ridiculous. So there's a lot of stuff that happens here in Texas. And so, you know, when I found out that Nintendo was doing that through your newsletter, I was like, I'm really not tapped into this. But you know what? Charm got me. That's all I can say. Charm got me. So that is the beauty of having someone with your experience and caliber creating this newsletter, because there's a lot of people who don't know. You know what I'm saying? And now I do have to ask you, since they did do the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct just, you know, a few days ago, have you put out anything on that regard yet? Because I got to read it. I'm just saying.
So you'll get that on Monday. I'm actually working on that. I'm actually working on a story right now. Like, when we get off of here, I'll probably finish it. But I was just trying to figure out, because, you know, I'm a one-person indie journalist, basically, right? I'm not going to compete with IGN. I'm not going to bring you breaking news. Like, you're going to figure that out before then. So I always try to find an interesting angle to write it from, because more than likely, I'm not going to be the first source that you heard about the information from. I might be the second or third, you know? So right now, oh, sorry, I just saw one of my flowers fell. Oh no. Okay, but anyways, I'm like, oh no, but right now, I'm really talking about who is Nintendo targeting now. I made a teaser post about that on TikTok, just really getting the masses interested in the conversation. But, you know, with their new pricing, you know, Nintendo has always been the family-friendly option. Not all, but, you know, in recent years, like, especially when you look at the pricing comparisons between Nintendo and PS5 and Xbox, Nintendo was the cheaper option. It had lower graphics, and that's part of how it kept it. And then, you know, all of their commercials were like, hey mom, come play with me. Hey, like, you know, like that's how all their commercials and stuff was positioned. But now we're looking at this higher pricing, where if you're looking at $450, and then you're looking at $80 to $90 per game. And the way Nintendo Switches work is most families have multiple Switches. Like, there's one, like, brother has his, sister has his. Me and my husband, my baby's obviously not old enough for one, but me and my husband have our own Switches. We don't share, you know? And so I just don't think that's, you know, probable when you're looking at a $500 price tag and then $80 to $90 per game, and you're lucky if your children all want to play the same games. And so, like, I doubt that's gonna happen, you know. So you're looking at dropping like $1,500 to get started on some Nintendo Switch systems for your family, which is why I'm like, who's the target audience now? Is Nintendo no longer targeting families? Is Nintendo target? And my assumption, which I'm going to go into in the article, but my assumption is that they are targeting the pro gamer market now. That they want to get into that. That's why they added the chat features. That's why they added the integrated webcams that you can, you know, plug into the system directly. And I'm like, I think they want to go after that pro gamer market and are foregoing families. And then even when you look at the games that they chose to really spotlight during the Nintendo Direct, usually we're looking at like a whole bunch of co-ops and cozy and you know, those are the games you think of when you think of Nintendo.
Yes.
Well, a lot of the
Yes.
games that they chose to spotlight were more action based and were
Yes.
things like, yeah, and very high outside of like their classic titles like
Yes.
Kirby, right?
They did
like
AAA
First
titles.
Bloods.
Yes.
Like AAA titles and like First
Yes.
Bloods. That's going to be a Switch exclusive, which
Yes.
is like some type of vampire action game. And it's like, that's such a departure from the types of games you think of for the Switch that I really do think that they're trying to muscle their way into being more of the pro gamers system. Because I think most pro gamers are, well, they're not thinking about Nintendo Switch unless they're specifically like a Mario Kart pro gamer that competes in those. Like they're not getting a Switch. But yeah, so that's kind of the angle I'm thinking about writing it on. And then like with this pricing, and then right before we got on here, Nintendo announced that they are actually pausing pre-orders for the US because of the tariffs. Yeah. And so I'm like, which that's a whole different debate that's happening in my comments right now where people are like, no, the pricing is just because of the tariffs. And I'm like, no, it's not. And this is proving that. So like $450 was without the tariffs. So, and then, you know, that's actually the price that they've locked in the system across the globe outside of Japan. So in Japan, it's still like the equivalent of $350. Yeah. Outside of Japan, it's $450. It's $500. And that's for every country outside of Japan. You're talking about in, well, not every, you know what I mean? Like, you're talking about in Britain and the US. I want to say it's even higher in Canada. I want to say it's like 600.
Yeah, it is. Because that Canadian to yen conversion. Whew.
Yeah. So we are, so I'm just curious. Like, so that's really where when you see the article come out on this upcoming Monday, or the new, and when you get that in the newsletter, or you can just go to the website and read it. I'm going to publish it today. But when you see that come out, that's really the angle I'm writing on. Is like, who's their target audience? Like, where is Nintendo going? What is Nintendo becoming? Because obviously they are shedding the image of being the family system. If they're going to hit this high price range, they're now a premium system. Like, and who's going to fill that slot? I know a lot of people are pointing to the Steam Deck, but the Steam Deck costs just as much, guys. It's not cheaper. It's not cheaper. So I'm wondering if this is making room for some third-party system, some unknown indie system to make it a name for itself. Because the way this economy set up, all of us we ain't got $1,000, we ain't got $600, $700 to drop on a game system. And I'm like, unless Nintendo's coming out with a Nintendo payment plan credit card, they're gonna partner with Klarna.
Partner with Apple. Since everybody partner with Apple.
Something. I don't know. I'm sticking with my Nintendo Switch 1 personally until I get a big enough name for someone to send me a review Switch. Right. So I don't think I'm gonna be buying a 2 anytime soon.
No, and that's the real deal, Holyfield. The fact that you pointed out that the transition for the Switch is very real, but that's like when Sony stopped making the PSP, I knew that was gonna happen. Because if you think about it, the PSP was hecka popular. Like that thing was like, oh my God, I can play a variety of games that I could usually normally play on my PS2, PS3 in my hand. So Sony had that locked, right? I mean, granted, yes, and Nintendo had a 3DS, they had the 2DS, and they, still had their handhelds, according to numbers, I mean, and I've done the research, y'all. I'm not just talking out the side of my chunky neck, I promise. The Nintendo 3DS and 2DSs, they still outsold the PSP, but the PSP had more popularity because it had more gaming titles, more exclusive things like that. And so, but people be like, oh, if you base it on sales, Nintendo still won. It's like, yeah, but let's be real. PSP Fat, you went to PSP Slim, and then you had PSP White, Like,
Right.
and then you went from there to the PS Vita, which was released, I believe, in what, 2000, somewhere in there. I know the Vita was released right before my son was born, but it had been out for a while, but it got discontinued in 2019. So I'm like, so that was when like Nintendo was like, all right, we got this. Because when did the Switch come out? 2017.
2017, yeah.
2017, because that was, of course, the year of the greatest game that was ever released. I don't care what nobody says, Breath of the Wild. Thank you. Fight me in the comments. It's okay. It's okay. Fight me in the comments. We can. I mean, these hands ready to eat for everybody, so I'm just saying. I'm kidding, y'all. But no, seriously, like, so when, you know, games like Breath of the Wild and all that stuff came out, really utilizing and showcasing what the Switch could do, it's like, okay, so how do they evolve from this? Boom, we got the Switch 2. Okay, cool. I was expecting maybe like another Donkey Kong Country. Maybe I knew the, you know, next Mario Kart game was going to come out for the Switch 2, you know, not from any leaks or anything, because I try to avoid those as much as possible. I'm sure you do too. But it was more so like the just the evolution of game. It's like, where are you going to take it next? Bigger screens? Okay, cool. But y'all already dropped that in an OLED. Right. So we kind of got a test drive with the OLED, right? And I feel like that was like the precursor to what the Nintendo Switch 2 was going to be. But now it's like, oh, wait, y'all got Elden Ring, you've got Dust Bloods, you've got, y'all partnered with, y'all are bringing out a whole new Hyrule Warriors?
Right, right.
Street Fighter, I'm not surprised by the whole Street Fighter thing. I'm not surprised, because Street Fighter has always kind of found its way onto Nintendo somehow. So Capcom, cool. Thank you. We appreciate you. But that's also telling of the technology that they have built up to. The partnerships they have, you know, I feel like for a minute they kind of steered away from the partnerships, and now they're like bringing it back. And it's like, dang, took y'all long enough, because we need something more than just ports, man. Stop giving us ports. Give us the good stuff. You know, and now granted, I ain't gonna lie, I have not played Cyberpunk 2077, and I'm not trying to.
I haven't either. No.
Shout out to the homie Neo. Oh, what's his name? The actor dude. Y'all forgive me. Keanu Reeves. Shout out to Keanu Reeves. Amazing human being, by the way. You know, he made his appearance in there. Idris Elba, you know, face is all in there. And I'm like, okay, cool. Y'all got some big people up in there, but the game had a lot of issues. So I'm like, okay.
It had a lot of issues.
And I ain't touching not one. And then you also mentioned the price point. And I'm like, okay, the price of this Switch is literally a little cheaper than what the price of the PS5 was.
It's about the same price as PS5, yeah.
Yeah,
give or take
now,
$50. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. But when it first dropped, people were like, "Oh, I'm gonna spend the $600 to get it."
Yeah. And I was not one of them people. Okay, that's why I have a PC. Hello, that's why I have a PC.
Preach.
All I got to do is change out a graphics card every couple years.
Listen. Listen, my little laptop, baby, I got 1 terabyte second hard drive. Y'all better quit playing with me. Me and Steam be on it.
Me and Steam, we tight like this. And it's funny because I'm actually a console collector, but I haven't. These new consoles cost too much. I can't do it.
We're not doing that. We're not touching that. It's okay.
We can't do it. I can't do it. Not yet.
We'll wait another 10 years when they're more obsolete and then they cheaper, you know, just to teach.
Exactly.
And for those of y'all, and for those of y'all wondering, there is an event in Texas, Austin, called the Classic Game Fest. So if you know about classics, then you know. Classic Game Fest is where you want to be. 2 days, $25 for a weekend pass. Baby, you can have your field day. I'm just saying.
Nice.
I actually plan on going back. It's been some years, but it's really, really fun. You literally are surrounded by everything from the 1980s original Japanese drops up until now. So
nice.
Yeah, I'm like, yo, that is, if you're in the gaming industry and you really want to get a foot in knowing gaming history for sure, that's the place to be. Like, I can't knock it. You're in a giant you're at the, I believe it's the pavilion, and over 20 plus thousand square feet, maybe 20 to 40,000 square feet of just gaming greatness. Cosplayers, special guests from gaming industries, voice actors, small business owners, vendors, food, because it's Austin. You gotta have food.
Right.
You're literally right down the street from my favorite, little shake and burger spot. I'm just saying, if it's still there, I pray that it's still there, because if it's not, I'm a riot. I haven't been back home in some years, y'all. So pardon me on that. But yeah. So I think that's, first of all, it's amazing that you're able to come up with a story outside of what they talked about with the Nintendo Switch 2, the release, the drop, all that stuff. They were blowing our minds, and I just didn't know what to do with myself. I'm not gonna lie, I cried seeing Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment, because I was like, because we hadn't had a real new title since, of course, granted, they gave us the Legend of Zelda, the new kind of,
the little chibi one. Yeah,
it really reminded me of the remake for not Wind Waker, Legend of Zelda 2, I believe. So it was in that same art style, and I was like, okay, this is cute, and we're playing as Princess Zelda. I see y'all.
Good stuff.
I see you, producer. I see you. And then now it's like they're doing like they did with Breath of the Wild, except they said, no, we're not gonna do a DLC. We're just gonna give you a whole new game. Okay, Koei Tecmo. We see y'all. We see you too. Because I mean, if you think about it, Koei Tecmo was giving us some of the best fighting games back in the gap. So
yeah, true.
I'm saying.
True.
And if for those of y'all who are really old, like me, Tecmo Bowl, hello. Just saying. That was that was NES days, the Nintendo Entertainment System, the little gray box that you had to fight. That is probably where the term triggered first started. If you had to use alcohol with the Q-tips to clean that dust out and make it work, listen, that was when the millennial generation first got triggered. Between that and trying to, beat certain levels on the Aladdin King, on the Lion King and Aladdin on Sega Genesis. If you know, you know. So moving forward. So I did put down here that, they can sign up for your newsletter via charmedgeek.com. What else can they find on charmedgeek.com?
Right. So we cover gaming, but I'm also covering like pop culture news. And really, I say pop culture, but it's really mainly like animation, to be honest. It's animated movies and anime. I covering all the stuff going on with Spider-Verse for a while. Thank goodness we finally got a release date. You missed that. Yeah. Release date dropped. I'll make sure that's in the newsletter on Monday. Okay. Don't quote me, but I want to say it's June 4th, 2027. Let me check right quick.
Oh, hold on. That's after my graduation date. Hello?
Let me make sure. It's 2027. Yeah, June 4th. I was right. Yay. So, so that's the official release date now. So just hold your breath for 2 more years.
Child, by the time that even goes down, my daughter will be going into her junior year of college.
Ooh.
That's how far off that is.
Yeah, so but we have a release date. It's not canceled. So but I've been following that stuff for a while, seeing what the actors are doing. It's not much on there yet, but I do want to add in more girly stuff, just like makeup tips and natural hair tips and shopping and stuff, fashion stuff. People are always stopping me to ask me about my hair and what I do with it, like in real life. And so I figured I would post some videos to point them at them. And it's really because I live in Kansas City, and in Kansas City, a lot of people still don't wear their natural hair. Like, it's not a thing here. Huh. So it's not, in my personal opinion, it's not that my hair is just like so amazing. It's that like people here still don't know how to do their natural hair. Like most people just flat iron their natural, like their straight naturals. Or they just get wigs, like they just braid them up and get wigs. So whenever they see me when they would see me, this isn't my hair, by the way, but whenever they see me, this is a wig. But when I do wear it, people are always, every single time they stop me and they're like, how did you do that? How did you do that? And I was like, okay, I'll just make some videos. So it's really for that. So that they can so I can just like, here you go, here's a video. It's just still not common. Even though Kansas City is pretty blackety black, they don't really wear their natural hair here.
So just to clarify, is this Kansas City, Missouri, or Kansas City, Kansas?
Well, I mean, they're literally right beside. Like I live 5 minutes from work. Like you go in between. You go in between them all day long. It's not that divided. There's not even a bridge separating them. It's just an imaginary border. So kind of both. No, it really is. Like I can just go. Like I'm only 5 minutes from the border right now. I can go walk across, and I'm like, ooh, now I'm in Kansas. So it's not. It's funny. It's not that. Yeah. So it's kind of like they just, you don't see. So just the metro, I guess I'm saying, like the Kansas City metro. You don't really like sense. They don't. Yeah. You still don't wear your natural hair out here. It's not a common thing. Like some people do it, but it's not very common. It's enough to where when I do wear my natural hair out, people will stop and look because it's that eye catching. Not because they're being rude, because it's that it stands out that much. So So I'm like, let me give them somewhere to go so they can stop asking me and stopping me. Like I'm like, here's a video, go watch it.
Oh my god.
But no, so I want to add more of that stuff out there. It's just, but I'm really just trying to establish the brand, the new brand. Yes. The rebirth yet again of Charm Geek.
Yes.
I think this one's gonna stick though. I think this one's gonna stick, this iteration of it. I'm like, okay, I think I've hit what I want to do. It took me a long time to get here. Yeah.
I could definitely relate to that for sure, especially with, doing this new show. I was nervous to do it because I was like, man, what am I really gonna do this? What am I coming with? How am I gonna do this? And I'm like, you know what? I love doing press and interviews. Somebody gonna come up on this show. Somebody, you know what I'm saying? It's like my bread and butter. I'm not a big blogger, but I will if that's something I'm gonna do. But when it really comes down to it, I love doing stuff like this right here. Like, hey, join me for an interview. Let's talk. Let's live stream it. Let's have a good time. Let's keep it naturally copacetic. You know what I'm saying? Nothing too crazy. I'm not fancy. People are like, oh, you have the StreamYard logo up there. And it's called free 99. Hello?
Well, I hear you. Yes.
But at
keep that overhead cost low. Keep it low.
Right, because the real overhead cost is, listen, this ain't paying the rent yet.
Not yet.
This ain't even buying the groceries, bruh. And I got 3 extra mouths to feed, plus the 4-legged one y'all can't see her, but she laid out like she pay rent. She is laid out like she pay rent. But yeah, so I could definitely understand that transition into like really trying to find, it's like you start it and then you're like, man, you pull back, and then you start it again and then man, you pull back. And then I know for you took probably even longer break because you had to go from being single woman in a cool relationship to now you're a wife, boom, now you're a mom. Like you did it in what most would say is the proper order.
Well, and then not even just that, I like literally we dated for 6 months, I know, and then we got married. Wait,
hold on. Wait a minute, ma'am. Hold on. Wait. You've been with that man for as long as I can remember. Y'all were only together for 6 months before you got married?
Just 6 months, and we only long distance. Only met each other twice. Yeah.
You know what? No. And the reason why hold on. Breaking news. Okay, you heard it here on the remix. This is breaking news. No, and the reason why I'm like Okay, I see you. Because when you met me and my husband Daniel, when you met me and him, I think we were all in that either we were in the African American Anime Lovers group, the 3AL group, I think.
Yes, that's what we were. We were in 3AL.
We were all in 3AL. We hadn't even started dating yet. I don't think.
Oh, I didn't know that.
No, we hadn't started dating yet. We didn't start dating. So we met the day after my birthday that summer, which is in July. 2 weeks later, we started dating. And then he proposed, and then we got married the following year. So I understand moving when you know, you know.
Okay, yeah, we just knew, right? And so like I put everything in my car. I had a job in journalism, and I was like, hey guys, I'm moving, and left my career, put everything in my car, drove to Kansas City. Well, really drove to Leavenworth, which is outside of Kansas City,
right?
And got married on a Monday at a courthouse. And
oh, you know what? we went and signed the paper. We were just like, yep, we're here you go. And people can look it up if they want to look it up, but y'all don't know our last names.
Y'all don't know.
No, but okay, so I know you're in Kansas City now, so where are you originally from?
Well, we're military, so I don't really consider myself really from anywhere, which I know is weird, but
I get that.
Yeah, but I did grow up primarily in Arkansas.
Okay.
But it's like being a foreigner. I don't know how to explain that better to people than saying that. Like you can live somewhere, but that's not your culture. That's not like you don't fit into the crowd. Like, yeah, like I don't embody Arkansas in any ways. And I never really adopted the culture. So it was just kind of like living like a foreigner in there. So
yeah, I get that. I mean, my roots are born and raised in Austin, but coming out to Denton, it's like, okay, I feel more at home here than I did back home, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it just fits your personality more. Yeah.
Exactly. It really does. So it's just like I got out here and I was like, are we country? Like, I live right down the street from cows, boy.
Yeah, I don't think I found that place yet. I don't think I found that place where I'm like, oh yeah, I feel at home. I always just kind of feel like I'm traveling at all times. Like I don't feel like I've ever hit somewhere and be like, oh yeah, this is home. This is where I'm going to stay. It just feels like I'm always visiting. Even though I've been in Kansas City, I've lived properly inside of Kansas City for like 3 years now, and I'm still. It's like I've never hit a city where I'm like, yeah, this is home. This is where I'm going to live forever. Like that hasn't happened. No.
I mean,
we're always traveling. The world is the home,
and that's the beauty of it. So do you feel like now that, having a young one under your belt, do you feel like you could establish that home for him?
I think we're going to stay in Kansas City while I'm building up Charm Geek and Hues. If I could give any younger person advice, I would say stop moving everywhere. No, but seriously, I'm really bad at moving. I usually move every single year. This is the longest I've lived. This is the longest I've lived in one spot, and I've lived in one house for 2 years now, and I'm itching. You
said I'm ready to pack a bag and go.
I'm ready. But seriously though, I would say if you have like big goals for yourself, it requires you to be stable and to sit in one spot, even if it's not your dream spot. I would say younger me was always trying to find that feeling of home and find the dream spot and find the dream job that'll be the holdover until I can do the others, like all of that. Right. And had I had a mentor to sit me down and say, in order to build that, you have to be stable. And really like explain what stability is, because I don't think I understood what stability was either. I'm just like, I was kind of just flighty, just kind of hopping from place to place, doing things. And so now having all those lessons on my back, I'm like, let's stay in one place, even though this isn't my dream place. Kansas City is literally the geographical middle of America. That's why it's called, like one of the nicknames is Heart of America. And it's literally the exact geographical center. And so it is middle America. It is quintessentially, and either you like that or you don't. Like that,
Yes.
that is what it is. And there are a lot of things I love about Kansas City. I love the art community. I don't think you're going to find another art community like this in the world.
Oh,
It is
no,
it is
it's gorgeous.
it is so heavily funded. Like they love the arts here. And it is so actually community based, where a lot of arts communities are dog eat dog. They're like, they're like, oh, come to my show and don't go to that girl's show, and let's schedule them on the same day so that you have to pick one. And then, like, that's been my experience with most art community. Kansas City is not like that. Kansas City is like, oh, you're at my show, I'm going to promote these 10 other people's shows too.
Yeah.
At my show. So make sure you come to mine, and then here's a ticket for theirs, and here, and then let's all go to their show together. Like it's very, or like, here's my art, here's 10 other artists like me that you might like no one is very community based. And I love that. And I love the old architecture here. Kansas City's extremely old city, so like you can, there's a lot of houses that'll date back to like 1800 or 18 and it's just great. I love architecture, so I love that type of stuff. But like, it's middle America. It's not very diverse. It's not, there's pockets of it, but it's, as a whole, the metro, it's not very diverse. And it's also like behind, I just things like, I love fashion. Nobody in middle America cares about fashion. They want to wear jeans and a polo and whatever football team they care about. And that's fashion.
I've seen that. That's wild.
Yes. They don't care about that stuff. They're very, it's quintessentially middle America. I've said that several times. And so I just want to go somewhere that fits me more as a person. In case anybody's wondering, like, I think of like Austin and Seattle and those weird cities. I feel like that's where I would more so thrive as an individual. But I'm learning my lesson and sitting my butt down and and trying to like right now, with Hues, in the last month we've gained almost 100 new subscribers, like, where people are just like finding us, and like they're like, we're hitting momentum. And the same with Charm Geek. I'm like hitting a momentum. I'm starting to get collabs from like gaming companies reaching out to me, and I'm like, this is not the time for me to, or just like specifically with Hues, even I do a lot of pop-up shops, and I've just reached the point, I've been doing pop-up shops for 4 years almost, and I just reached the point where when I do the pop-up shops, people walk up to me and they say, I know what this is. And so I'm like, yeah, let's, because other advice no one asked me for, I always tell people, because I do a lot of marketing stuff, and so people come to me and they're like, they always want you to make some magic marketing plan that's going to make them $1 million immediately. And I always tell them, though, that they're targeting too big. Everybody wants to be like the next household brand name, but most people, I'm like, just start with your city, right? Like, if I don't remember the population of Kansas City, I'm just gonna make something up. We're gonna say it's 3 million. Okay, I don't know what it is. But like, if I got a quarter of all the people in Kansas City to buy a box, I'm doing well. I'm doing really well. If I got an 18th of all of them, to buy a box. And so I would just say, like, focus on permeating your local market before you even think about, unless you have some giant investors or something, just focus on growing your small business in your local market. And that's really what I'm doing. I'm like, okay, I'm starting to get brand recognition. I'm starting to, like, people know what it is. When I'm starting to get new local news stations reaching out to me and saying, hey, can you come do a segment? Hey, can you come do? And so I'm like, yeah, let me stay my butt in place. It's hurting, but I'm gonna stay.
She said, no, I don't like this. I don't
want to, but it's also something that my husband needs a lot. He is actually from Arkansas, and he's like very community based. He's very country, and he wants to have his community of boys and where he can sit down and have, like, just that normal community that I think most people want. It's not that I don't want it. It's just, having grown up military, we didn't have it. So therefore it's not a necessity for me. Like it was just us. We didn't have an extended community of any sort. So yeah, so I'm like, so it's not a need, but it's something that he needs. And I feel and so I think we're gonna work on building that, though I don't want to. I just know I just know in my knower that's what I need. Like I gotta discipline myself.
Yes. It's hard.
Put in one spot.
It is hard, especially when you have to make a full life adjustment like that. But that is a sacrifice we make as parents. You know? I think it's important to just kind of realize, like, you know what? In order for me to also grow, I kind of got to make these adjustments, but these adjustments are big life adjustments, but it's to make sure that you, my young one, are safe, that you're sound, that you have stability, you have the things that I didn't have. I moved around every 2 years when I was a kid, and I hated it. And hated it. I was like, why are we moving again? Like I
feel like that's the normal reaction. I think most kids hate that. I think I loved it. I was like, I never want to. My goal when I was a kid was to grow up and be a nomad. I never wanted to own a house. No, I didn't want to own a house. I wanted to travel permanently. That makes sense. And I am doing the exact opposite. Now I live in middle America and I own a house and I have a baby. I'm like, how did this happen?
Flag on the play.
No, I'm joking about it now, but about a year or two ago when I got pregnant and stuff too, especially, I was very upset. I was like, how did my life turn into this? This. But but
almost like
I'm learning.
Right?
You feel stuck, and then you just don't even know. It's so divorced from what you saw yourself as. You don't even understand how to process it. You know? But I think where I've landed is I'm learning that it's not an all or nothing kind of thing, first off.
Yeah.
So, one, it's not all or nothing. Two, stability and staying in one place is not the devil. Like you can stay in one spot. And then three, it could be just a not right now, right? Like I'm still relatively young.
Yeah.
I got a lot of life left. That might just not be something I'm doing at this moment, especially like while I'm building. But hopefully the things I'm building takes me places and I go places. I love traveling. I think that's a huge part of my personality. But I'm like, it could just be a not right now thing. Like in the future, I will travel and I'll be more nomadic or whatever. But right now, we're raising a baby and we're building a business. And building a business requires you to sit your butt down. So
facts. Speaking of business, people, I want to show y'all a little bit of the business. And boom.
Oh, yay. Thank you.
She wasn't quite prepared for that. I know she pretty much heard my clickety clacks on the keyboard, but I'm just saying. So this is the website right here, y'all. HuesBookbox.com. Okay. Y'all can check it out. It literally breaks down everything that happens. First of all, the website is clean. This is beautimous. The logo
it's been a while since you probably looked at it, huh?
Yes, it has been. As a matter of fact, let me point some out to y'all. So the sleigh right here that's in this background, that was one of the first books in the book box that I got. And I still have that book.
Yay!
So I still have that book, and I have, I think, maybe the two others that came with it, because I think I did the one that was 3 books. I can't remember exactly, y'all, but either way.
I like to think that the girl on the cover looks a little bit like me. Like I feel like they accidentally drew me. I do. I do.
Same. Because first off, 4 eyes. And then afro. Now, granted, her afro's a lot bigger than mine. I mean, mine is...
Yeah. Fair. Hers is probably a wig, too. Hers is probably...
extensions, because we do got kinky, curly clip-ins. You know what I'm saying? So, no shame. No shame there. But yeah, this is the website, you guys. I think you really should check it out. What's inside? Hello. Like, look at what you get. Like, you can't go wrong. And see, look at the books I've missed. I'm a little salty.
Yeah, so one cool feature that's happened since you last were an active subscriber, I like to say you're just like a passive one now. But one thing that's happened is that now you have an ability to customize your box a little bit more. So when you sign up or log back in or however that might go about, you can tell me what kind of books you're looking for specifically. Like you can say like what genres you're looking for, and then we have an open-ended box that says like, are there any cultures or world events that you want to read about specifically? And so that's where we get a little bit more specific with curating for you. So basically we're really leaned into being a curating service. So each box is individualized to each person now. They used to be like kind of the traditional subscription box model where all the boxes were the exact same thing that went out. Now it's individualized. So you say like, oh, I want to read some Black books and I want them to be love stories. And at any point you can go update what you're looking for, you know? So really, I think that's when we start taking off a lot more, is because that customization element really sets us apart from all of the rest of the book. They don't do that. Like this is something that only we do. So every other book box out there, you're gonna get what you get, and that's it. You're gonna like it. Nope, this one is customized to you. So some people have described it as Stitch Fix for BIPOC books, where so it's like, that's what we're doing. We're customizing.
Yes. So for anybody who's watching and is, white or melanin, deficient, listen, look at this. Do you exclude white people, non-BIPOC? Answer is right. Not at all. That's the answer right there. Not at all. That's what she said. The boss is right here, like under me. So I'm just saying. So she said no. She said if you create content that includes or highlights Black, Indigenous, people of color, then your stuff is gonna get featured. And let me tell you, there's a lot of artists or authors and writers and people who do write stories about us but don't look like us, and it's okay.
Yeah, I think we have a grading scale of what we're looking for, right? So we're really looking for like 3-dimensional characters that feel stories that feel authentic. If you're able to do that, then your book might be included in the box. And there's also like other caveats around there. Like we included a book called The Black Angels, for example, and it talks about I'm gonna get this wrong. It was like tuberculosis or some kind of very contagious disease like that was going on, and this was during segregation eras. And I don't think I do that page anymore.
Oops, never mind. I'm gonna move that one.
It's okay. But it was during the segregation era, right? And no one wanted to touch those patients because it was a highly contagious disease and we didn't have a cure for it. But there were these Black nurses that weren't even allowed in the front of the hospital that went throughout all of the regions treating these very contagious patients. And so they're referred to as the Black Angels because they saved everybody and saved us from that outbreak. And, this was when they weren't even considered like whole humans. Well, that book is written by a white woman. It's written by a researcher. She was a researcher and she researched these stories and everything. And so there's even caveats like that. Like I had never heard of this story before I read that book. I didn't know that ever happened. But it was a very important story and she wrote it. So we included it. So there's different caveats like that, but there's also, like you said, if you write some good characters, you make some good stories and they're people of color, it could be in the box.
Ain't no discrimination, none whatsoever. Your book is good. I'm reading it. I'm just saying. And I've seen some stuff. I gotta give props to the writers who live in the South who write books. I'm not going. I mean, listen. No shade to anybody else in other parts of the United States of the Americas, but it's something about Southern writers who talk about Southern lifestyles and things like that. Oh man. It's almost as if like your race doesn't matter. You Southern. That's your ethnicity. You're Southern.
It's true. It's true. Southern is
facts.
different. It is.
Southern is very different. Just like, I wouldn't be able to relate to anyone who lived out in the New England, as they call it, but, out in the East Coast area. Yeah, we got Georgia down there, but we talk about like Northeast to be specific, like the Boston and Massachusetts, New York, all that stuff. Now, some of you probably like, hey, Jasmine, why you sound like you Northeastern? My people are from Brooklyn. Just that's all I'm gonna say about that. I'm a Southern born kid with Brooklyn accent in there somewhere. So every now and then I say coffee instead of coffee. Don't ask me how that happened. I'm just like, listen. It was probably at some point going the evolution of JazzyNe. I don't pronounce words properly. I never did. I mean, hello. So yes. So as y'all saw, subscribe to Hues Bookbox by visiting HuesBookbox.com. You can build up your subscription. You can get 1, 2, 3, or if you got a book club, 3 to 10 books. That way everybody get a little something to read, and then you go from there. I mean, there's a process. It takes you probably less than 5 minutes to get signed up.
Yeah, less than 5 minutes, especially if your address is already saved in your info. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So people can log in, like they can create an account and then go in and do it that way.
Yeah. So you don't have to create an account. You can just check out and then your account will automatically be created. But yeah, you just go through the survey, tell us how many books you're interested in. It starts at $15 a quarter for one book. So so it's a good price, I would say. Let's hope
$15 for one book per quarter. If y'all don't get 3, stop playing.
Right.
Get 3. Right. At least they're curated by the lovely face you see. 2, I guess this is technically my left. If you're watching this, it'll be on your right. But at least that the quality that you get, it's not just anything thrown together. You're going to get really good quality. So that's important, especially when you're doing with subscriptions. That's what people do with, like you said, you mentioned Stitch Fix and some of the others that are out there. It's like, hey, you get a subscription. That's what you do with HelloFresh. You want good quality. You want the stuff that's going to last you. That stuff that's going to have you coming back for more. So yes, you get 3 solid books. That's 1 book a month. And then you re-up the next bit, just about, and then boom.
Exactly.
I'm just saying, like I said, once I finagle the finances, I'm coming back. I'm an OG, so I gotta come back. I gotta come back for real. So I know it has been y'all. We just listen. This is what happens when you get 2 sisters on microphone. This is and
we can chat. We can talk.
We can. On top of that, I don't do like this whole. So please tell us about. This ain't the Fox News. This is not MSNBC. This is the remix where it is off the top, authentic. Because if it wasn't authentic, it wouldn't be me, and I would scrap this whole thing if it was just so. Okay, so tell me about and how do you? I guess that works. I'm serious. I've done interviews with celebrities and it's never been all, I don't have time for I'm too laid back for that, man. I'm just like, y'all, we here to have fun. We're having a good time. Ladies and gentlemen, Charmed Geek, the owner, CEO, Charm Me of Charmed Geek and Hues Bookbox. Listen, where can they find you?
You can find me at Charmed Geek _ on pretty much every platform.
As I'm scrolling.
And then at charmedgeek.com too.
Yes. So just letting y'all know, y'all have to follow this young lady. And I say young lady, I'm just a slight bit older than her, not by much. Slight. So don't do me like that, okay? But no, this is what we love to see. And this is what I aim to highlight, because there are many people like you that folks are still learning about. And now it's like, okay, this is another way of saying, hey, y'all, check out this person. Look at what they're doing. They're in their lane. They found a way to make it work. And on top of that, they're doing something that brings other people together. So why not highlight it? Be like, y'all, throw her out there to the creative wolves and let her have some fun. Now, listen, I hope you're watching this. You've taken down the links. You've taken down the social media. You've taken down all this information. You've got to learn a little bit about her. Not too personal in the lifestyle, you know what I'm saying, just enough, but to know and understand that as, Black creators, whether it's content, whether it's art, whether it's music, it's important for us to come together, be able to share these things with each other, and, just really promote each other. So I think that's important. But I do want to thank you for coming on to the show. Like I said, I've known this young lady for so many years. It doesn't feel like we've known each other for that long. I've known you probably as long as I've been married.
Oh wow. Yeah, I didn't know that.
It's been 10
I didn't
years.
know that.
It's been about
wow.
10 years. Yeah. It's been about 10 years. So I'm always, so that's pretty much what I'm kind of doing, is running it back to some of my old creative friends and just saying, hey, look, come to the show. Let's talk about some things. We have some amazing guests coming up in the future, you guys. I've got a few friends from 1000 Dreams Fund coming up between now and I guess April also. And Charm, you don't know this, but the Dallas International Film Festival is happening April 27th through May 1st. And the Remix team will be in the building. We will be doing some interviews. Like, we're talking red carpet. We're talking like up there, like there's indie films being released. And the beautiful thing about this festival, it is an Oscar qualifying event, meaning the winners, the films who win the eligible prizes, they actually have a chance to be pushed for nomination for the Academy Awards next year. So
that's I don't amazing.
I know. And I was like, yo, this is our first press run for 2025. And I'm like, not bad.
Yes.
Not bad. So I'm excited about that. We will be blogging about it. And for you guys who are watching this, thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to follow, like, subscribe. Make sure you click the notification bell. If you're watching this on YouTube, if you are watching this on Twitch, please know I need you to sub if you want to get all the nitty gritty. No, I promise I'm not recording no extra stuff. Ooh, we finna see the clips. Okay, calm down. Y'all getting real greedy. No, I'm just kidding. But once again, thank you so much for coming on to the show. It has been awesome. It has been amazing. Like I said, y'all see the social medias. Make sure y'all follow her. Make sure you support small Black woman-owned business. Okay. And we will tune to you guys next time. Take care. Have an amazing day. Stay blessed.